You're with me, Shruti. You're watching Living Our Ascension. Today, I want to share with you the messages that came through for our week ahead. And in case you don't know, these messages, they're channeled from the Galactic White Brotherhood. And these are galactic beings, our angelic guides. And specifically, the purpose of these messages is to assist those souls who are going through their ascension process, so ascending souls. So you can kind of think of it like ascension updates, weekly, whatever is happening when it comes to the higher energies, and not just, for example, what's going on in at an astrological level, but very specifically and in a very grounded way, what ascending souls are going through and what is new that is opening up for all of us, what is the highest potential. And when we know this, when we're aware of this higher potential, which all of us, we are touched upon, all of us are, with these higher energies the same way, but when only those who are conscious of what's going on within them are the ones who are able to fully awaken it in the physical. So with that aim and with that hope, I bring through these messages. And today, for this week, I have 2 messages only. Usually, most of the time, 3 of them come through, but this time we've got 2. So both of these messages are for all of us, and make sure to listen to the whole video. But if you would like a more specific message, then just choose either 1 or 2, and that will be the more message that's more relevant for your week ahead. So the first one, I used an oracle deck this time because sometimes it's fun to do that. So if you chose number 1, then this is the card that we got. It is 3 of water, and I'll read what it says in a second, but it's a card of celebration and celebrating with other people. So it says a celebration, a wedding, graduation, or birth announcement, the need to have more fun. So in essence, this is just an energy of getting together with others and really celebrating. And this, that's really interesting because last week also we got a very similar message. So it's kind of like a continuation of that, but further developing on it. So I'm going to just read the message because it came through in a paragraph, so I'd like to read it that way. But there was a feeling of just blasting these particles of light and these particles of love that has become our field, because there's these divine love openings that are happening for us, and really it's touching us in very deep ways as well. We're opening up to different parts of the love that we are and living it in the external. So exploring relationships in a way that we haven't done in a long time, or we haven't done so far, and allowing ourselves to do that. I'm really seeing that happening now. And those who are going through the ascension process, they will often experience just different layers of relationships, different levels, different dimensional levels. And some relationships will have a more spiritual feel. Then, sometimes we connect with people who are very spiritual, but then we feel that they're not grounded and we feel that element missing. But the more that we become more grounded in our own spirituality and how spirituality, once it becomes grounded in us, then all of it merges, and we start finding those who reflect that as well. So there's fulfillment at all levels in that sense. So something is grounding in our love, and how we know ourselves as love. And when we are relaxed in it, because we can have these experiences often as spiritual people, that we can't fully enjoy the physical somehow because we're too spiritual and everything else is mundane. But the moment that we just relax and we trust life, it often shows us differently, and then that's when spirituality becomes physically grounded and we are just fulfilled on all levels, including the physical. So it says, Something in your vibrational field has shifted, and you are drawing in new experiences in love. A personal milestone has been reached, and the universe rewards you for it with a sense of celebration with others. If this is not a celebration with others, then there's a need to stop and congratulate yourself, pat yourself on the back, and celebrate for your recent choices. So definitely, life presented us with some situations, and we have made certain choices. And if they are ones that are aligned with our inner truth, then this sense of celebration is opening up, and we will be living it in the physical. It's like the universe is rewarding us, and that love is returned. Whatever we have put out there comes back in the physical too, because you allowed it to go through in a more physical environment and physical way, so it can come back in the same manner. So it also says that you're going to be seeing directly in front of you the effects of your inner repatterning that you have recently done. And often, when we are doing something at a higher level, so let's say in our everyday we are making certain choices, or we're going through certain rebirths within us, we don't always realize the extent to which we have done that inner work. But it says that this week you will be able to behold it, so you'll be able to see it in your external environment. It'll be reflected. This really high vibrational being of love that you are, that you have recently grounded. This will be visible, and most likely it'll be visible through your experiences with other people. Maybe perhaps how they receive you. So that's a very positive, very loving week you have ahead of you. But this applies to all of us. And then if you chose number 2, then this is the image. It says 5 of air, and just have a look at the image as well. It has 5 unicorns on it, and as you can see, there's one unicorn that's kind of standing away, and the 4 of them are talking to each other. It's more like they're a group of friends, and there's one that's here on the side. And I'll read what it says. It says, an unwise choice. Learn what you can from this situation and review everyone's motives. So, sometimes I pull these cards, but the image might speak to you more than, the words do often. So just go with whatever feels right. And when I pulled this, I didn't resonate so much with the words. The energy of this week felt more like coming into our own power. There's a sense of personal power that's opening up through our interactions with others. So there's definitely a feeling of feeling different, when we embrace a certain path. And those who are going through their process of ascension, it can be a very accelerated path. What people don't realize is that we go through many, many different rebirths. So it can be like, in one lifetime, for example, when you are just living your life in an unconscious manner, you will go through certain experiences in your life, and then, die, and then perhaps come back to this earth through a new lifetime. And humans have been going through that process, that of rebirth over here, this karmic wheel as we call it, through their own choice, just to grow as a soul. But those who are going through their process of ascension, who have embraced this timeline, their timeline allows for very fast experiences. It's accelerated. So you will go through many, many different personality shifts. It's just like a snake sheds its whole skin. Often you will feel that you are a certain way, and then you will shed the whole thing and come into something new, something completely different. But at our core, though, we are always the same, because it's that I am presence, that is our eternal self. But as our personality, as that I am presence is expressed in the physical, we'll always go through changes. whether that is, through the process of dying and having multiple lives, or whether you can do it in one life. It's the same. But if you are going through this process of self-mastery and you're choosing it, then it's bound to happen that your life will be a little bit different from perhaps, those that you see around you, that you often meet in the masses. And so some of those things can cause you to feel a little bit different. And the message this week is, because when I was looking at this, it's like, one unicorn looks a little bit different. I mean, because he or she's like standing away from them and feels perhaps like an outsider. But if you really look, they're all unicorns. So it's not like, one is a horse and another one is a rabbit or something. They're all unicorns, which means that, they're all the same at one level as well, even though they might have different personalities. And this is something that's important for us to remember, that there is always, we are all divine love, we are all the same. So when you are interacting with others, remember that they have something to bring you. And anytime that you feel that you should be enjoying something, but things don't go your way, then remember that those around you are your reflections as well. And what this means is not that in the sense that, let's say if others have an angry reaction towards you, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are harboring a lot of negative energy within you. It's just that they might be bringing in some clues about what you need to embrace now and what's something that you have outgrown. And don't worry so much about, sometimes we can have these more challenging experiences, or we are called upon to make certain choices that make us stand out from others. And so don't worry so much about your choices affecting others, because everybody makes choices, they are also making their own choice. So we have to just make the choice that is right for us, and be firm within it and stand firm within it. So this is what is being said to us right now by our guides, is that don't slip back into familiar patterns. There's something that you have chosen to come into new territory regarding relationships and love. Now don't slip back into old patterns. Stay present in what you have chosen, and give it a fair shot, give it a fair chance, because whenever we start a new cycle, the way that energy is created in the physical is through a consistent putting it out there. And when we put a certain thing in motion, then gradually it acquires like a life of its own. So allow for that process. It's not immediately that everything will be reflected in the way that we think, but always something will be reflected, and it's equally valuable to us. So remember this, in your relationships and in the experiences that you're having with other people. You don't have to agree with them, you don't have to make the same choices, but just value what they are bringing, because that's a reflection of something that's being born within you. Sometimes even through disagreements, or sometimes they show you that what they are choosing is something that you don't want anymore, and you didn't realize that until they showed up in your life. So and also the message that's coming through is that you got what you wanted. There's a certain essence that was opening up within you, and it's now been created in the physical. You are going through those experiences and you got what you wanted. If you really look, it doesn't always show up in the way that we imagine in the physical, but the essence is what you desired, and it's here now in the physical, and it's time to enjoy it. And we can only do that when we actually recognize it and see it for what it is. Then the final thing is that even though things may begin this way, because this whole week is about coming into that sense of personal power and being okay with it, being okay with being powerful. Often when somebody is very powerful, they will have a polarizing effect on others. Others will strongly disagree or strongly see your light and want to cling on to it. there's all kinds of things that happen, but we have to be in our own power. So it's something like, how celebrities, when they put themselves out there, there's so many admirers that they have, people adore them, but equally they will attract so many haters, saying all kinds of mean things on social media. So it's something like that. When we come into our own power, we're open in that way. It's like this opening, and we are out there and vulnerable as well, but just stand within that vibration, because you're growing. And there's a sense that even though there's some of these initiations that we go through, but in the end, I just received this line that everyone will be talking about you. And it doesn't mean that it doesn't always have to be literal in that everyone is, actually physically speaking about you, but just that you will be noticed, and in some way you'll be recognized for what you are, So yeah, I think that's it. These are the 2 messages that we got. Even though they were 2, they were quite detailed. I hope that you enjoyed them and that it resonated with you. If you think that this video can help others, then be sure to share it on your page. And if you are looking to connect more personally with me through my personal services, then have a look at that. All of them are listed on my blog, which will be below this video. And also I wanted to say that I have a Facebook community on which I share some other experiences that I don't in this video. So yeah, be sure to check that out as well if that's something that sounds good to you. And I'll see you very soon in the next video.